Okay. All right, dealing with formulas and functions. So again, let me deselect that. Formulas has its own tab. Again, we have the insert function dialog box, which shows us all of the categories of functions. So this is the default search for a function. It says type a brief description of what you want to do and then click go. Typically, you're going to know the type of function you want to use. If you don't, again, you would just type the description here and click go. The the default is the most recently used functions, which are listed below. If VLOOKUP, payment mode, median, count A, etc. There's a list of all, which is an ascending order of all of the functions. If you don't know what category it is in, which most people do not, then there's a categories: financial. You know, if you're dealing with finances, though, there's date and time, trig, math, etc. Okay, so this is the function dialog box. I recommend that you use the dialog boxes initially, as opposed to some people will type like equals sum and know how to press tab and step into using the function because they're that familiar with the format of functions. And so typically people who start out typing a function are not beginner users. I usually teach from the dialog box because this is an intro class. All right, so with this assignment, we're on the challenge tab now. Create a formula in cell D4. So D4 is here, that multiplies the quantity in B4 by the price per unit in cell C4. So we're going to start every equation with the equal sign. Please do not type spaces in your equations. I take off of that. All right, so equals the quantity in B4. So we can either type B4, so we're multiplying, and so that's the asterisk. If you go to the course notes, Excel Module 1, it shows you a list of the mathematical operators. And I'll just type them out in a second. So equals B4, I typed in B4, times the asterisk, price per unit. I just clicked price per unit. So notice I'm building the formula using the cell reference and not 15 times 8.75. That's not what we do. All right. All right, and so I'm going to, because I'm going to copy this down, I'm not going to press the enter key on the keyboard because I don't want to leave the cell. I'm going to use the enter key in the formula bar, and that leaves this as the active cell. So this is the result. The formula you can see in the formula bar. So when we click there, we can see the color coded formula. So kind of when you go back to check, it kind of helps you with the visualization of what's going on with the color coding. Okay, so we have equals B4 times C4. Again, I'm in edit mode right now. We see the blinking insertion point in the formula bar. I have edit down in the bottom left-hand corner of the window, and the ribbon is grayed out. So lots of indicators of what I can and cannot do right now. So I'm going to press the check mark. That takes me back to an active ribbon, an active sheet. And so I can, number 4, use the fill handle to copy the formula to D5 through D7. So I'm going to grab that and copy it down. So Excel is intuitive enough to say, hey, I'm multiplying this row now that the formula is copied to row 5. Now we have equals B5 times C5. These are called relative cell references. So whenever you copy them to a different row or column, the cell addresses adjust to accommodate a different formula, depending on where it is, right? We have B6 times C6, and here we have B7 times C7. All right, number 5, change the price per unit for the fried plantains in cell C6. So that's here to, is it? Oh, this is the wrong sheet. I don't have plantains, empanadas. Anyway, so notice the line total automatically changes as well. Okay, so um, let's change the price of the napkins from $2.59 to a tariff price. That might be $3. Let me say $2, 2.95. So we recalculate, and this is why you don't use values in your formula, right? Because you want your spreadsheet to work. Okay, so we use cell addresses and formulas so we can recalculate as appropriate. Number 6, edit the formula for the total in cell D8 so it also adds cell D7. Well, I guess we have to total. I don't see a total. I guess they had a total, but all right. So we're here on the total line. So row 8 over here says total. So we're going to do a line total here, and I'm going to show you the difference between a formula and a function. So no, this is kind of long. We have 4 entries here. So equals, I could go equals this cell plus, and use a plus sign, that's for addition, plus this cell plus this cell plus this cell in total. $348.48. That took too long to make. Okay, so we're going to delete that and use our auto sum. So I just created a formula because I used a mathematical operator. Functions don't need operators. So this is the sum of the range D4 through D7. The range is in parentheses. And then we have the function name in front of the range, right behind the equal sign. Equals the sum of the range D4 through D7 is what we're looking at. We're going to press enter. We get the same amount, and you can create that sum in 2 seconds as opposed to 20. All right, so we have a total here for June and July budget. Again, we'll just simply click sum and check that, and that's that. All right, going on to, let me go to this functions tab here. All right. Okay, I presume I have the correct worksheet because it looks like the answer. Okay, number 3 in cell F3, which is here, insert a function to calculate the average of the 4 scores in cells B3 through E3. Okay, so my auto sum has a drop down arrow. So my second popular function is the average function. So I'm going to select that. So we're averaging the range B3 through E3, and I'm going to click the check mark, and there we have it. Number 4, use the fill handle. I'll drag this over. Use the fill handle to copy your function in cell F3 to cells F4 through F17. So I'll click and drag to stop that right there. And just real quick right here, some of these have 2 decimal places and some do not. If you want your sheet to look consistent, we can have everyone have 2 decimal places. To me, it's just a cleaner look, or maybe no decimal places. Okay. Okay, in cell B18, which is here, use AutoSum to insert a function that calculates the lowest score in cells B3 through B17. So we're looking for the lowest score or the minimum Again, so on the home, I'm on the home tab, our auto sum. This is the same tool we were using in formulas. It's the same thing as here, except here it's all the way over here. So I'm going to use the min function, and it automatically, Excel automatically selects the adjacent range of values. Now you can change that if you want, but in this case that wouldn't be correct. But you can change what Excel selects, because sometimes it selects a little too much and you have to adjust it anyway. So we're looking for the lowest score for B3 through B17, and we'll press enter. I could have pressed enter on the keyboard for that one. So the median score is the score in the middle, and so median is not in our drop-down list. So I'm going to go to more functions to open our function dialog box. I'm going to close it to show you a different way to get here. You can also click this F sub X, which also opens the insert function dialog box. And we're looking for median. We'll click go, and there it is. The dialog box gives us a definition of the median function. It returns the median, or the number in the middle of the set of given numbers. We'll click OK. All right. So again, there's the definition. So these are our function arguments. So it's telling you what to do. So what do you need? What data do you need, or what cells do you need to for this function to work? We see a bold number 1, which means this range is required. So we're not looking at B3 through B18. We're looking at B3 through B17, because we don't want to include B18. Okay, so we can expand that back. The second number 2 is optional. So only the bold argument is required for this particular function, for any other function. So you can add more and more and more, right? So, but this is the only one that's required. The formula result is here. It's also here. And we click OK. That's the median score. Okay. All right, in cell B20, I'm on number 7, create a function to calculate the highest score in cells B3 through B17. I will go here back to the auto sum drop down. This is the max function. Again, it selects the range adjacent, but we only want to select B3 through B17. We'll click enter. Here, the highest score is 100. Now, we're going to select cells B18 through B20. Use the fill handle to copy all 3 functions we just created over to each quiz grade through F20 all the way over. Okay, so you can copy multiple formulas or functions at one time. All right, next we have relative and absolute cell references. We talked about the relative references. We're going to talk about the difference between relative and absolute. You'll need to know this for your project. All right. Number 2, click the paper goods tab. I assume I copied the correct. I did not. Anyway, I'll demonstrate it anyway. I didn't copy the paper goods tab. I'm gonna go grab it and copy it. What are we doing? Absolute and relative. That is in Excel module 2. I'll go and grab that worksheet. So in your workbook, you may have multiple worksheets. So just make sure that you click the correct tab at the bottom, and hopefully I can just replace this. Okay. I'm gonna just get this out of the way and just, you should be in separate cells. I don't know if we're gonna deal with that or not, but anyway, let me go ahead and keep it moving. All right, so paper goods is a different tab. It's like 4 tabs in the workbook. Like I have multiple tabs here. So I just had to go to the correct tab and copy and paste it here. In cell D4, did this not paste correctly? No, D4 is here. Nope, D4 is here. In cell D4, enter a formula that multiplies the unit price in B4, the quantity in C4, and the tax rate in E2. Make sure to use an absolute cell reference for the tax rate because it will be the same in every cell. You need to watch this video. They do such a great job explaining and demonstrating in the video. But I'm going to step through this. So we're multiplying B4 times the asterisk C4 times the tax rate. Now the tax rate is going to be the same for every item. But remember when we copied the formula down, the formula changed for each row. So I'm going to demonstrate the incorrect way without an absolute tax rate, and then I'm going to demonstrate with an absolute cell range for the tax rate. Okay, so we're going to press enter. The sales tax is $4.26. So that first copy, everything moved down a line, so did the tax rate. So instead of multiplying by 7.5, we're multiplying by the line total, which is not even a value. So you see the value error. It's saying, hey, there's no value here. So what are you doing right now? Okay. So I'm going to press escape and go back. In E2, the way to make it absolute is I'm pressing the F4 key. Or you can manually type $ in front of the E, $ in front of the 2, press enter. And now when we copy down, we get all good formulas because E2 never changes. That's why it's called absolute. Okay, that's the whole point. Number 5, change the tax rate in cell E2 to 6.5%. Notice all the cells will update. So when did taxes ever go down? So 7.5, we're going to change it to 6.5. So everything recalculates automatically. And so when you use cell addresses in your formulas, you have a very fluid worksheet that you can work with. And the total here, we have the sum E4 through E2. Okay, so that's good. All right. Let's go to our charts. This is my favorite subject, charts. All right. There's so many different types of charts. So on the insert tab, we have a whole charts group. We have column and bar charts. We have line charts and area charts. We have pie charts, 2D, 3D, and donut. We have the hierarchy chart, tree map, sunburst, histogram, box and whisker. You've probably heard of these for some of your other classes. But again, these are the categories of charts. So select cells A1 through E6. That's A1 through E6. And insert a 2D clustered column chart. Since they were very specific, I will go to the column category. So 2D clustered. So this is a 2D group and this is a cluster column. So there it is. It's that simple. I'll press delete. With this selected, I'll go to insert. There's a recommended charts. So these are all of the various types of charts that are available based on the data that is selected. We have a clustered column, a stacked area, another clustered column, which is displaying by month as opposed to by person. We have a line chart, bar chart, stacked column, right? So we will go back to the 2D cluster column. Change the chart title to September to December sales. So we can type that in. You can copy and paste. The chart title should always indicate the data that is in the chart, that is displaying in the chart. And we'll click outside of that. Use the switch row column command. The columns should now be grouped by month. Okay. So we're grouped by people right now. With the chart selected, I have two tabs at the top. I have a chart design and a format tab. Now you're not going to spend too much time with the format tab. The chart design has most of the tools you're going to need. So we have this switch row column, which is available for column and bar charts. So now we're grouped by, it swapped out the X and Y axis is what it did. So now we're viewing the data by month as opposed to viewing it by person. Okay, and that's number 5 with a different color for each salesperson. So this is our legend here. So there are different parts to a chart. So, and whatever you hover over, you'll see a screen tip. So this is the chart area. This is the background. You can color a chart area. This is the vertical axis, the y-axis, the x-axis. I'm sorry, this is the legend. This is the x-axis here, horizontal category. Okay, and each one of these is a data series. And I need to point out this chart elements tool here. So this is a shortcut version of all of the chart elements that are available at all are here in the ribbon. So you have the primary axis, the horizontal, vertical, chart title. You can remove the chart title, you can position it. You have data labels, data table, etc. I mean, it's just everything you need is on the ribbon. This is a little shortcut menu. What this chart is missing, and which they don't tell you to add, are data labels. Like, where's the data? Now, granted, it does get a little crowded. It's a little, so the first thing I'm noticing is that we don't need all these zeros, right, in the chart. So I'm going to select the chart data. Everything is .00. So guess what? I'm getting rid of the zero because it's too much. So I'm going to select the chart again. And I'm going to go to my chart styles. It's already formatted. Like, I don't have to figure out how to make I don't have to take the time to make each data label vertical, display in a vertical fashion. This is why chart styles is so beneficial. So we have all these different chart styles. Every one is numbered. It's like 1 through 14, I believe. Yeah, up to 14. And so for me, the most appropriate is this vertical for these numbers, so they're not all crossing over top of each other. I forgot I touched me. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave that like this. And then we have here chart styles, which is what we're looking at. Okay, so we have chart style 2 selected. And then there is the filter button. So if you want to display only certain people and not other people, we can deselect, well, let's view 3 people and click apply. So we can actually change, it's called a filter button. And we can bring those people back, or you can remove 2 of the months, November, December, or this is a whole quarter. So these are September to December is 4th quarter in a fiscal year. So, but that's what this is. This is a filter button. Also here, speaking of filter buttons, where's my data tab? This is also, these are filter buttons here, which can be removed. So whenever you see these, like you can sort. So let's say if the salesperson, we wanted to sort in ascending order by name, we can make that happen, right? That would make sense for this data that's here. All right. So number 6, move the chart to a new sheet. So with the chart selected, it's called a chart sheet. I'm going to select chart design, move chart to a new sheet, and I'll call this column chart and click OK. This is a whole sheet, right? It's got its own tab. And I didn't open up a new sheet and then copy and paste the chart and just stretch it out wide. So we actually moved it. So I'm going to move it back into the charts worksheet and click OK. Oops. I meant to drag by the outside and then I can move it around. So you may have an assignment that says, hey, you know, put the worksheet, and right now I have it in cell B9 through E24. So that's what that would look like. All right, number 8, use the quick layout command to change the layout of the chart. The quick layout is here, and you could just, you know, choose something. I'll choose that one with the data table in it. So that's another way to display your data. Use a data table instead of data labels. All right. Okay, modifying columns and rows. Okay, let's see. Number 2, auto fit column width for the entire workbook. So that I would select all. Top left-hand corner selects everything, and auto fit is simply a double click. Now that widened it to the widest entry, which is the widest entry is A1. Or we can use the auto fit is under home tab, format, auto fit column width is here. Same thing. You can use from the ribbon or you can do it manually. Okay, I would bring that in and stretch this out and use the merge and center tool and probably bold that. Okay, so this is now one cell. So these cells are merged. I can unmerge the cells and put that back on left alignment. So this is center alignment. This is bottom alignment. So we have vertical alignment. We have top align, center, and bottom, as opposed to left, center, and right. So instead of just horizontal alignments, we have vertical alignments as well in Excel. So let me just stretch that back out. Select through the end of the data, click merge and center. Modify the row height for rows 3 through 14 to 22.5. So I'm going to select those. I'm going to do a right click and select row height and 22.5. Type that in and click OK. All right. And I'm going to put all of that on the center because they're all at the top. So we're going to shift that a little bit, or I could put it on the bottom. Either anything makes sense except for the top. So number 4, delete row 10. We're going to select row 10, do a right click and simply delete that. Number 5, insert a column to the left of column C. So I'm going to select column C, right click, insert. We always insert to the left. If you select one column, you'll insert one column. If you select 2 columns, you'll insert 2 columns. So this is secondary contact. Oops, should be up here. In cell C2, we'll do an auto fit. Make sure C2 is still selected and choose wrap text. Okay, wrap text is when you allow the text to circle or to layer. All right, I'll just put this on the bottom. Center, I'll bold. So yeah. Secondary contact, we apply wrap text. That's the only thing. If you press enter, most people try to press enter, you'll be in the cell below. So this is the only tool where you can put multiple rows of text in one cell. Merge and center cells A1 through F1. I did that. Hide the billing, address, and phone columns. So here, select these 2 columns. I'm going to right click. There's an option to hide cells. If the cells are hidden, you see a skip in the alphabet, C to F. So you need to assume that D and E are hidden. So I'm going to show you how to unhide them. So I'm going to right click the tab at the bottom and select hide. Dang it. That's what happens when you let me click I hit it. So let me unhide it. I'm gonna click OK. I just did a right click. Wow. So to unhide it, select both sides and select unhide, and it will bring your columns back. And that's it for that topic. Stepping into page formatting. I didn't get the instructions for that. Okay, page layout. Let's do this one. I hope I got the right data. Let's see what we have here. Click the East Coast tab. I don't know if that's the East Coast tab or not. Let's see. In the page layout tab, let me scroll up. Okay. In the page layout tab, use the print titles feature to repeat row 1 at the top and column A at the left. Okay, page layout tab. So we're going to go to alignment number. Okay, so page layout. And we are going to go to page setup. We're going to launch that. And we're going to go to sheet. Use the print titles feature to repeat row 1. So row 1 is here. We want to select row 1 and column A at the left. Columns to repeat at the left. We're going to select here and column A, and we'll select that. And we'll click OK using page break. No, we'll click OK. Okay. So using the page break preview command, move the break between rows 47 and 48. So under view, page break preview, move the break between rows 47 and 48. So it's between rows 40 and 41. I think I got the wrong sheet because there's no page break. All right, that's okay. You're not gonna have this. This is probably not gonna be a homework question. Um, all right, I'll go to the print preview and let's see if we can fit all columns on one page. That's gonna really reduce the size. We're at 100% right now. When we go to File, Print, so there's yeah, that's that setting where we applied to all of the sheets. We're not seeing the data. So let me get rid of that. This is definitely the wrong sheet. So let me get rid of this and this here and click OK. We'll go to print preview. So here's the data. All right, so it's 2 rows of data. And let's see if we can go to some scaling print. Sometimes you just may have 1 or 2 columns spilling over. This just happens to be a whole lot of data. You can use this scaling at the bottom to fit the sheet, fit all columns on one page. That's very, very, very small. So you might want to change that to landscape. It'll make it a little bit larger. And we still have, what, 4 rows of data spilling over. So you can change your margins and get them on there. So let's do narrow margins. We still got, oh, that's even worse. Okay. Okay, we would have to go to the margins. I think I'll get the point where we're like, I'm killing this time right now. Yeah, that's just too much data for one page because you won't even be able to read it. So, anyway, there are different ways to adjust the data and to work with data. Let me show you one other thing that's very important. So for data like this, you probably want to use your freeze panes option. So you can freeze the top row or you can freeze the first column. I'm going to place my insertion point at the first data entry, so at B2, so that way the column headings and the row headings get frozen no matter whether you scroll horizontally or vertically. So freeze panes I'm going to apply here. So now I can scroll down and my row headings are still there. And I can scroll over and the names are still there. So yeah, freeze panes is very valuable when you have large data sets. And then you can unfreeze the panes the same way you froze them. So all right, that is it for my demonstration for today. Um, pause.